So in today's video, I'm going to introduce you to chords, and we're going to use left hand to play chords. So I'm going to explain what a chord is and teach you the three major types of chords that come up all the time in the left hand. So when we talk about a chord, what the word chord means is when we're playing more than one note on the same hand, which usually ends up being 3 notes at a time. So if you want to start with just your 1 and your 5, and then add the 3, you can do that if you're not used to doing them all once. But basically by playing those 3 notes at the same time, I have created a chord. So let's break that down even a little bit more actually. We're going to make what's called a C chord. So I want you to take your left hand and your pinky finger and throw that on C. And you can pick any C on the piano, it doesn't really matter, but if it's in the bass, so if it's like middle C or lower, that's better. So I'm going to use this one, which is just 1 C below middle C. Okay, so the first type of chord we're going to make is called a 1 chord, and this comes from the Roman numeral 1, and I'm going to show you that on paper in a minute here. But basically, a 1 chord means I play the first note, the third note, and the 5th note. And if I press all those down, you can see that they're all separated by 1 key that's not being pushed. Okay, so it's like nice and evenly spaced out, and that's called a 1 chord. Now when we're playing that chord, you want to have really round fingers that are nice and firm, and we're playing on our fingertips. We're not like letting any of this happen. We have a round finger. Okay, I'm going to show you a different angle. If you're having trouble getting these 2 fingers off the piano, try placing them on the edge of the piano and giving it a little gentle push, and that's a nice little stretch for your hand, so that you can get 1, 3, 5 up there. So this is called a 1 chord. So let me just grab a piece of paper real quick, and I'm going to show you what exactly the Roman numeral 1 has to do with our chords. Okay, so Roman numerals are not really used anymore. The only place you probably would have seen it would be like on a clock or in the chapters of a really old book. But a Roman numeral 1 looks like a letter I. Okay, so this is just a fancy old-fashioned way of writing the number 1. So in music, we go all the way up to 7. So there's 2, 3, 4 looks a little bit weird. And then 5 is like the letter V, 6, and 7. So we use these in music to number our chords. And if you want to guess why there's only 7, it's because there's only 7 letters of the musical alphabet. For example, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Or in the case that we're doing it right now, C, D, E, F, G, A, B. Okay, so we just did a 1 chord, and that was by putting down our finger 1, 3, and 5. The next type of chord that we're going to talk about is called a 4 chord. We're going to skip right over 2 and 3 because 4 chords come up a lot in music. So when I make a 4 chord, that means I have to count 4 notes, or scale degrees they're called, up from C. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and I land on F. So now I'm going to put my pinky on F and play my 1, 3, 5, and now I've made a 4 chord, okay? So if I wanted to, I could theoretically play a 1 chord, 2 chord, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I'm back to C again. Okay, so let's go back to that 4 chord for a minute. So the 3 notes here are F, A, and C. But what we're actually going to do is rearrange them. We're going to take that C off and leave these 2 guys, and we're going to change the C out for this C. So now it's very easy for me to switch between the 1 chord and the 4 chord. So the only difference is that I stretch my thumb and I play 1, 2, 5 instead of 1, 3, 5. So that's a 1 chord and a 4 chord. So you can just practice going back and forth between those 2 until they get nice and comfortable. And we hear these lots and lots and lots in all kinds of different songs that are going to come up both in your music book and in all kinds of music. So 1 chord, 4 chord. So I want to teach you about one more today, we're going to go up to the number 5 here, and we're actually going to play something called a 5-7 chord. Okay, so it looks like a V. It's not a V. We say 5. 5, 7. So let's ignore the 7 for a sec and count up to find 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So where the 7 comes in is I'm counting 7 from this note. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I tack that on top, and I get this crazy chord. Now, I do not expect you to play this. This is pretty tough. That's 4 notes. So just like we did with the 4 chord, we're going to scramble these notes up and put them in a different order. So the F's going to come away from there, and it's actually going to get tacked on here. We're going to get rid of the D altogether, and we're going to change that B out for this B. So this is our 5-7 chord. Way easier than playing those other notes. And you can see it's really easy to go from the 1 to the 5-7, because all I do is scooch my pinky down. So 1 chord, and then for the 5-7, I play 1, 2, and 5. So now that you know the 3 different major or primary chords, you can practice going 1, 4, 1, 5-7, 1. And try that over and over again and practice saying their names. 1, 4, 1, 5-7,